Flashback an entire 5 years to the summer of 2020. The lockdown has just completed its course for the most part, and many businesses have finally reopened for business. Chesterfield Mall is no different. This was filmed May 12, 2020. Now, first things first, this was an entire year before the Dillards and the Sears wings of the mall were drywalled off, and before the pickleball courts were added in the center. So, in comparison, these shots are better off as they show the mall in its more true form, not their attempts to repurpose it for other uses, irrelevant to shopping. Now, I do want to apologize really fast if this part of the footage isn't as good as my modern videos. When this was shot, all I had to my name was a low bitrate phone camera with zero stabilization. Only with the help of the AI tools and stabilizers, upscalers, all that jazz, were its only saving grace. So if it's not perfect, I apologize, but I tried to fix it up as best I possibly could. So without further ado, let's get into some history really quick. The mall opened close to 50 years ago on September 1st, 1976, and is a sister mall to the nearby Jamestown Mall in Florissant. The mall's original two anchor stores were Sears and Sticks Bear and Fuller. 2 years later, in 1978, the four-screen mall cinema opened in a separate building adjacent to the mall. In 1981, a famous bar anchor store opened. 3 years after that, in 1984, Dillard's would reopen in the old Sticks Bear and Fuller building after buying them out. In 1995, a new famous bar anchor store was built adjacent to its former space, which JCPenney would later take over. The mall went under a big renovation in 1996, and 4 years later, in the Great Millennium 2000, the cinema would close. In 2002, the mall was purchased by Westfield and renamed to Westfield Shopping Town Chesterfield. Just rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it? In 2005, the JCPenney didn't last very long, as it would close, and the space was soon demolished. It was instead replaced by multiple smaller shops and restaurants, including a Borders bookstore, which would later become V-Stock, the Cheesecake Factory, St. Louis's only American Girl store, a food court and AMC on the new third floor addition, as well as the main entrance that we all know. The mall changed ownership again in 2007, this time to CBL. Not long after this, in 2011, Borders would close and was replaced with V-Stock, as I mentioned before. The mall's first big blow came in 2016, when Dillard's would temporarily, you didn't see my air quotes there, temporarily closed due to a flood that happened because of a water main break. The store was expected to be fixed up and reopened the next year, but in early 2018, the company would announce that the location would be permanently closed, and just advised shoppers to go elsewhere. The building remained vacant for close to a decade, but oddly enough, Dillard's announced recently that it's going to reopen soon, but we'll get into that in just a moment. The mall was placed into receivership in the third quarter of 2016. With its pending foreclosure, management was transferred while a new owner was being found. Soon enough, the foreclosure was finalized in the summer of 2017, resulting in a temporary owner. The Hull Property Group would purchase the mall in 2018. This same year, the St. Louis's only American Girl store in the mall would close. And in May, it was announced that Sears would also close, leaving Macy's as the final anchor store. The mall was sold again, the final time, in February 2020 to the Steinberg Group. They bought the mall to spend nearly $1 billion renovating the property. But this wasn't just to turn around the mall. Oh no, this was for something much bigger. Macy's would evidently close in late 2022 as they would open a smaller market store nearby. I did an entire video on the progress of its liquidation as well as covering the new store. And if you haven't seen that, I recommend you check it out. A few months later, in May 2023, the AMC would close, technically leaving the entire third floor unoccupied. Things weren't looking bright for the mall's future until the mixed-use style center that the current owners had planned finally came into the light of day. The entire mall closed permanently on August 31st, 2024, and the demolition began in October. The former Macy's and Dillard's building would remain standing for future use. The Dillard's is soon to be reopening in 2026 to kick off the new developments opening up. And the Macy's will be turned into the headquarters for the Steinberg Group, with the lowest level of that building likely being subleased to other businesses. We're basically sitting on history here with this footage I shot, because this isn't it, my friends. In 2021, once I heard that they had blocked off the Dillard's wing and the Sears wing, and added the pickleball courts, I had to see it. This time being properly stabilized thanks to my new GoPro. Wow.
AMC here?
Yeah, I don't know if AMC reopened yet, actually.
They have the Marcus Theater at Marcus. They have different ones.
There's actually a couple shops here. That one's not open. You can tell it used to be a Sephora. And there's a gallery. That's interesting. Here's where the AMC was, I guess. Yeah, I think they reopened. Because before, back in May, these were blocked. I don't know, I think that's an arcade. But, oh wow, the corridor is actually a tennis court now.
I think it's more paddleable.
That's weird. I guess they have to buy their spaces somehow. That's strange, actually. Huh. Now, I think according to a buddy of mine in a Facebook group, yeah, Dillard's wing is walled off. You cannot access because the Dillard's is vacant. Wow, that's interesting. So you wonder, is there a... Okay, that's weird. I guess because there is a shop there. That's weird.
I don't think that shop can see it anymore.
The Sears wing is also walled off. The Sears wing over there is also walled. Which that's well, Sears has been gone since 2018. It's weird that they're still saying Sears is this way, but there's nothing there. And Macy's is still here. It's the only anchor left besides the movie theater. But what's weird about it is Macy's announces all these store closures. This wasn't one of them, surprisingly. You'd think out of every Macy's store there was, this would be one of the ones that they close. But no, surprisingly not. Looks like this is some restaurant, maybe. And you can kind of see clearly into it.
It kind of looks like a burrito or like a wrap where you have these.
Probably. The walk-in company. It's gone. That's what all the people do here now, is just mall walkers. And here's the Sears wing. You can tell because Sears. And there's nothing there. I don't get the point of that. I guess to make it look like it's more full? I don't know. Because this isn't the end of the hall. This goes way further. I'm just curious. No, they actually did lock it.
I wonder if you like open that up to be able to see Sears behind it. Or would it just be like,
Yeah, because these halls used to be really long. You know, they used to be as long as those, but you could see they just stop at the signs. It's a very weird decision. Yeah, but this gate is still open, so we can just take a quick stroll. Camera isn't going to be as stable because of the darkness. But I think this was another restaurant. You can't see anything. It says dumplings over there. You can't see it. It says dumplings hours.
I'm assuming this is some sort of like Chinese restaurant.
Maybe. This definitely isn't locked. Actually, I guess it is. It didn't look like it was locked. Yeah, another art gallery. That's weird. They have an art gallery there, but then over there they got an art gallery. Makes sense. There's the AMC. A decent shot of that, I guess. Yeah. We're gonna go there and go down the escalators, and we'll take a look at the second floor, including the food court, which is right here. And that was a Wetzel's Pretzels, can you tell? Eyebrow threading. There's actually more places in here than I thought. Way more than I thought. Still not good. But, I mean, way more than I actually anticipated. Alright, down the escalators we go. Yep. No parties allowed in the food court. No parties, why not? Can't go into V-Stock because I guess cramming people into one entrance really helps the situation, but you know, whatever. There's restaurant number 1 and 2. I can only probably name a couple of these. I am very unfamiliar. It's been so long. Well, that one says great wraps, so I would assume it was a great wraps. I mean, just look at this. It's completely empty. I think that was Charlie's. I think so. Yeah, Philly's cheesesteak. I think that was a Subway. Yep, it even says on there, Subway catering. That one you could even walk into if you wanted to. Yep, Subway. Crazy. It's weird what they did to the corridor. I don't understand. Now that's some creative walling off right there. You can see they completely just cut off the sign right there. Toys play where kids lure. Sounds solid. Just curious. It's locked. Yeah, maybe.
You know,
you can kind of see through a little bit into the mall area. Not very much, but the gaps are very tight there, so there's no way of getting a good shot. We're kind of screwed. That's okay. It was bound to happen, honestly. It's just their way of masking their failure. Now I'm willing to bet that this was Journey's, just because of the colors. It's funny when you're not hearing them playing the game over there, you just hear how silent it is in here.
kind of scary. Not scary, but
Well, it's creepy. I remember the Black Fridays over here. They were insane. But now, it's kinda... I don't even know how to describe it.
dead.
I guess. Very soon, this ain't gonna be here. Some other thing there. This looks like an office. What did they do? There's no sign. This literally just looks like an office.
It probably is.
I guess.
There's no sign on it.
They've definitely added stores since I was here last. Because it looked much worse last time. They're kind of doing the same thing that the Mid-Rivers Mall was doing, is they're just kind of adding organizations and stuff to kind of fill the space and I guess keep them alive longer. Which, do what works, but it's definitely odd. This one's a heck of a lot worse than...
This one is not my last one, it's not even my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And I already see the rivers going out, so I think.
Yeah, this mall ain't gonna be here much longer. But what's funny is this mall is the sister mall to Jamestown. So
Well, I can see why it's going there. Jamestown.
now here, this was definitely Hot Topic. And it's gonna be kind of a pain, but I think we might be able to see something. Let me actually shine my flashlight in there. Can you?
A little bit, yeah. Very slowly, but you can.
When I can see there's no gate at Sears with the naked eye. Might be why they blocked it, honestly. I guess it's just to mask from the inside that it looks better than it really does. I just don't get the appeal of the courts. I don't understand. Makes no sense to me.
They're just trying to bring in some footage.
I guess. Now this, yep, I was gonna say it was Justice. Definitely was. Justice style. Definitely was a Justice. Any wonder what that was?
Fencer.
I snack. Hot coffee, hot chocolate. That's actually kind of neat to have in here, but nobody manning it, so it's closed right now. Like I said, the mall would close in August 2024, and if you want to see my final day coverage from here, they're already up on the channel and linked below. But let's move on to before the wrecking ball and present day. And I was there simply to drive around one more time. It's been about a week and a couple days as of filming this since Chesterfield Mall has permanently closed. And since then, there's already been at least one documented break-in I witnessed on YouTube, which is now since deleted, oddly enough. But I'm driving around it right now, just kind of just taking a look at it, you know, knowing I obviously can't get inside. There is still security here, but just, it looks like a disaster. Here, let me show you. We're passing by Macy's right now, but like, let me show you here. So there is garbage like all over the parking lot. Yeah, excuse my dirty window. Yeah, a bird like had fun with that. Here's one of the main entrances. Chesterfield Mall, and it does say on there, you can't really see, but it says that orange sign basically just says Chesterfield Mall is permanently closed. I'm gonna try to avoid stepping out of my vehicle. Just I don't want to get in trouble. I mean, I've witnessed just from the like 5 minutes I've been here, security has been like circling the building in their cars at least 50 times, like, and there are people still here cleaning things out. But I mean, like, this is the Sears Auto Center. Look at the door. I mean, that's new. There's a lot of supplies, and they are still here emptying things out. They are still here. And I know that they're still here because, yeah, the bay door is open. And the main door over there is also boarded up now, which, that's fun. There's Sears. Didn't even notice this before, but Jared is apparently closed. I assume that was before the final day, but I guess I just didn't care enough to really notice that Jared was gone. Let's shimmy on over to the main entrance here, like the actual main entrance. It looks like there are some crews over here already. I'm not sure what they're doing, but it looks like they're just tackling the trees, if anything. There's the other entrance to Sears and another main entrance. Now we're driving right past the old V-Stock, former Borders, right by the main entrance here. So many memories. Obviously, Cheesecake Factory's long gone. Well, long gone, about a month now at this point. The Loft, which I never ever saw that place open. I don't really know what it was. Then this was like a furniture liquidation store. It used to be the American Girl store. It was, I believe, the only one of its kind in the St. Louis area, as a matter of fact. So I remember when it closed, people were like freaking out about it. Here was actually I believe this was where Cheeseburger was. It was like a diner kind of place. I remember eating there a couple times. It was a pretty decent place. And over here's another main entrance. This is right by the Dillard's wing. This was where one of the last businesses actually were, the barber shop, as you can see. And right next to it was actually California Pizza Kitchen with the yellow awning. But now we approach the Dillards, which essentially this is like the only thing that's staying with the redevelopment. That and the Macy's building, but obviously the building is just going to be reused for something else. But let me turn around. Now this is what was kind of amusing. I saw this getting off the highway. The Dillard's parking lot is actually being used as Tesla storage for the nearby dealership. And I find that to be so funny that that's like been its only use right now. But yeah, there's some cyber trucks, you know, the PS2 quality trucks, if you want to say. Pretty funny. But yeah, that's the only, I guess that's the biggest I've seen the parking lot presence over there in quite some time. But now we're going to trek back to this area, which is the other entrance to the Dillard's wing. I'm going to turn right in here. Whoop. And now I mentioned how there was already a break-in, and the video's gone, but I stumbled on this video where these kids were, you know, I say kids, they were, you know, not much older than me. They were probably just out of high school. But they came over to this very entrance, right over next to me here, and flat out admitted that they got a rock and broke the door on camera. And that's the door right there. And you can see it is still open. And miraculously, they did not get caught. But since the video's gone, I'm kind of hoping they did, because that is unacceptable. This is basically where we started, so I'm going to stay on the outer circle and just get a few shots through here, and that'll be it. That'll be the last time I see Chesterfield Mall, really, until that is complete. The downtown Chesterfield. I'm glad nobody's here, because stopping in the middle of the road like that would usually end in disaster. But I don't know, I think I just blend in with the rest of Missouri drivers at this point. Yep, there's the Macy's and the Sears and the entrance right in between them. Future home of downtown Chesterfield sign, the one over here, is being ripped up as we speak.